Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Milka from Indonesia.
And I'm Max from China, and we're both international students. And today we'll be talking about civics. It's about how people vote and take part in the public life in the US, in Indonesia, and also in my own country, China.
Yeah, we thought that it would be fun to compare the systems. So let's start with the US, since that's where we are studying right now. Okay, so in the US, the voting is really something big. So it's like the per part or like the biggest part of democracy. Yeah. But here's something I found surprising. The national government doesn't run the elections. Each state, even its county, has its own rules for how people register, what kind of ID they need, and how ballots are counted. So it can look pretty different depending on where you live.
Yeah, and for the presidential election, people don't vote the president directly, and instead they vote through something called electoral college. Each state gets a certain number of votes based on its population. At the same time, voters choose senators, representatives, governors, and even decide local issues through ballot initiatives. So you're voting for a lot more than just the president.
Civic participation here is not just about elections. People go to town halls, join school boards, or speak at city council meetings. There are so many ways to get involved.
Exactly. And it's not limited to formal politics either. People protest, join advocacy groups, and lobby for change. The Constitution protects freedom of speech and assembly, so citizens have a lot of ways to make their voices heard. And now let's switch to China. Things work really different there. People don't directly vote for the president, and instead, it's more like a step-by-step system. Citizens vote for local representatives, and then those representatives elect higher level ones, and eventually, the National People's Congress chooses the president.
Oh, so it's kind of indirect, right?
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to civic participation, most of it happens through government organized channels like neighborhood communities or activities. Protests and independent civic groups aren't very common because they are more restricted. So compared to the US systems, China focuses more on indirect elections and participation through official structures.
Okay, thank you, Max. So, and Indonesia, it's another story. Our elections are very centralized, where everything is run by one national body. It's called KPU or KPU, or it's General Elections Commission. So the process looks the same everywhere, whether you're in Jakarta, Bali, or Papua.
Oh, that's also very different from the US, where every state does its own thing.
Yep, you're right. And another big difference is how leaders are chosen. Indonesians vote directly for the president, governor, mayors, and parliament members. So there's no electoral college where so here every vote counts equally. And when it comes to civic participation, people often join neighborhood groups. So it's called RT and RW, or you can spell it RT and RW, where it consists of some families inside the same neighborhood. And they handle local issues like security events or distributing aid. And of course, people also protest, join civil society groups, and run online campaigns. But compared to the US, it's less about town hall and more about community level engagement.
Perfect. So let's start it up. The US has Then decentralized voting and tons of ways for people to get involved directly. And your home country, Indonesia, has one national system and direct voting for leaders with lots of community level participation. And about China, it's more indirect, with elections and participation mostly happening through official channels.
Okay, so these three countries have very different approaches, but they all show how civics reflects history, culture, and politics.
Perfect. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast.
Okay, see you next time.
See you.
Bye.